Okay, this is a review of the book Life, Games and Stories of Miguel Najdorf El Viejo by Zenon Franco Ocampos. This is a great book, more than 600 pages, I think. Yeah, 720 pages. It's very, very heavy. You cannot imagine how heavy it is. It's a weapon. If you throw it on the head of someone, you could kill them. The paper, it's really high quality paper. You can feel it. It's all glossy. It's really high quality. So it's a nice paper. Maybe this is the reason why it's so heavy. The book has really a ton of games, more than 275 games. There are also some great tables. Not all the games are complete, some are fragments, but there are definitely great stories, and just for that the book is worth it. The book is also annotated, so most of these games they are all annotated by GM Zenon. So it's a really beautiful book that deserves to be read and kept, especially for the stories. There are many beautiful stories on this book. Grandmaster Zenon did really a great job into finding the sources of the stories, and even put some stories all together from three different sources. Now, I would like to show a game that it's very short, in a sense. Is game 2 in the book, Najdorf against Shapiro. It was played in Lodz 1929. Najdorf was white. E4, E6, D4, D5, Knight C3, D takes E4. Now, lately I think there is a new book which supports this variant of the French, which I think is called Rubinstein. But the Rubinstein can be very passive, so one must be really a good player. I think maybe they put new ideas in it thanks to the fact that computers always find a new way to revitalize and put some energy into opening. Knight takes e4, Knight d7. Notice that there are also footnotes too in this book, so it's really complete. It's a biography, it's a lot of stuff. It's a beautiful book, to tell you the truth. I think we are lucky in today's world, but strangely they don't appreciate books anymore because many people just watch YouTube. But in reality, the books really give a depth and history that probably it's difficult to do with YouTube video, because I think in a YouTube video everybody would become bored. Bishop d3, bishop e7. This is not so good, it says castle. And here the author writes, the simplest and the most sensible move before launching an attack. Black should have done likewise, but he played mechanically to solve the development of his queen bishop. He played b6, not so good, he says. He says it's a mistake. Knight e5, obviously it's trying to go to v square. Bishop b7. And now, obviously in the book is not written, but I tell you to stop the video and trying to find the move you would play for white. What would you play? Okay, if you have paused the video and now you found it, it's knight takes f6, which has an exclamation point. It seems that now black pondered this move for a long time and played g-take f6, which is not so good. Again, pause the video and see what would you play if you were white. I think if you want I can give you a hint. The idea is that many of Tal's games generally have a sacrifice on that square, okay? So the right move is knight takes f7, king takes f7, queen h5, and king g8. Obviously, I don't show all the variation in the book because maybe on a chessboard it's a little more difficult, but there are many lines and explanation given for this game. Okay, I also want to avoid to make it boring for some people. So queen g4, king f7, again queen h5, and rook king g8. Here it says, at this point I declined the offer of a draw. I had repeated moves to see if my opponent would go wrong. I also considered 12 bishop c4. But after knight f8 and bishop h6 and bishop d5, black has no problems. I can still remember how I gave a sigh of relief on finding the move which allowed me to continue the attack and avoid calling a truce. So yes, this is what I like of this book, because it makes a lot of historical research and give us the comments of Najdorf that he wrote in some books or magazine, and that we wouldn't have, maybe because some of them were written in Spanish. So that is also a problem, right? So this is the great thing. The book is all in English, so a language that we can understand if we don't know Spanish. Okay. Now, how did White continue? He played rook e1, and now it's threatening queen g4. Okay. Knight f8. Rook takes e6. Beautiful sacrifice. Again, you need to sometimes pause the video and think what would you do next, okay? Knight takes e6, bishop c4, and here he plays obviously queen d6 to defend this, but now white takes and bring another piece into the game. Bishop h6, once again threatening to win a rook as before. Bishop f8, rook e1 again. As we can see, all the pieces have come into the play. Notice that black didn't use this and this. What does this mean? That in reality, if we count it, if they are out of the game, black is playing with 2 rook less. So it makes sense sometimes to sacrifice, because if the opponent has no way to bring a piece into the game, he doesn't have it. That's all there is, right? Okay, so rook e1, bishop c8, try obviously to defend this thing. What would you play now if you were white? The move is queen e8. Great move. A strange position, one impossible to foresee at move 10. But I knew that there must be something for white. And let's see how it continues. Bishop d7, rook takes e6, rook takes e8, rook takes e8, check. Let's remember that there is this, and that's the real problem, okay? Bishop e6, bishop again take e6, queen take e6, and the game ends with a checkmate. Rook takes f8. And this was a very interesting game, very fast. Obviously, there are many more of these games that I maybe are totally unknown because maybe not played against super strong player like World Champions, like Capablanca, because the good thing of Najdorf is that he actually played against everybody. The book, once more, is like 700 pages. There are more than 270 games annotated. It's definitely worth it. It's a great read. It's a great read for those who love a biography, but also games and all the stories that are quite interesting of how players behave in the time. Obviously, the even better thing is the fact that some stories are a little exaggerated and the author did the historical search for explaining what happened really, objectively, instead of what was told in some magazine. So here also a picture of the author, GM Zenon, Franco Campos, a great grandmaster that has spent a lot of time writing good books. So it's I'm really happy to have this book in my chess library.